Hello, North Andover. Rick Gorham at the Youth Center. It's Friday of week 13 of our new normal. Hope you're all doing well. Beautiful day out there, and we're hoping you're going to have a great weekend. Purpose of this video is to kind of give you a little heads up on some of our summer plans. Yes, summer 2020 is going to happen. Tonight, if you've been with our programs before, you're going to receive an email from Demi Marsh, which will explain the process of us starting registration on Monday. We are putting this out early because we want to explain what the program is going to be like, because you're going to have to make some choices of whether you would like to sign your child up or not. So we'll try to answer some of those questions with this. And in the email, you'll get all of your answers at that point in time from Demi. So we need to start prior to the pandemic. On March 1st, we presented our summer program because we always do it a season ahead of time. And we had a phenomenal program scheduled for 2020, what we always call the best summer ever. And it was pretty much a summer as we've always known it. And then obviously the pandemic hit. And as we ended into the end of March and early April, our plan became pretty much, we called it at that point, the clock struck midnight. And the reality is that our plan that we had for 2020 could not happen because of the pandemic. So while most people doubted that we could actually pull this off or thought that there would be any kind of programs in the summer, we worked on a new program called the New Normal. And one of the first things that we did was bring my full-time staff, and we did it all from our homes, obviously virtually, and started to talk about how we could do the summer. And then the most important thing is we brought 15 college kids on. We called them the think tank. And the think tank got together, and we pretty much looked at every issue of how we could make this a safe summer for our program. And that group has been working since early April, and we're excited that we're actually going to be able to pull off this proposal. In the proposal, we actually presented to our town manager, Melissa Rodriguez, deputy town manager, Dee Casey, head of the health department, Brian LaGrasse, town nurse, Carolyn Ibbotson, and also has been involved with Cheryl Balzac from the school nurses. And basically, when we made our proposal, we didn't start with why, we didn't start with how we were going to do the summer, we started with why we had to do the summer. And the psychologist part of me, we spent a lot of time talking about, why we need to do the summer. And to me, it came down to three very simple things. As the governor started to open up the state, and obviously things nationally were starting to open up, our residents need to go back to work. Our residents who require daycare, childcare, and in the case for us, summer programs, it is necessary for our town to support these people going back to work by having some kind of summer programs for them. So that was number one. Number two is something that I've been speaking very loudly about, and I think more and more people are buying into what I'm saying, is I am greatly concerned about the social and emotional issues with our kids that have been basically locked up for over 3 months. Our high school kids obviously have a lot of independence. Our middle school kids have some independence, and our elementary school kids have no independence. And at this point in time, we are seeing real things happening with our kids that haven't been able to have relationships, haven't been able to see their friends, haven't been able to do fun things, sports, etc. And I do believe that this is going to be a problem going long term if we don't adjust and try to do things safely and provide those kids with outlets that they have not had for 3 months, including obviously not being able to go to school. And then the third piece that I actually fought on was the issue is when the weather started to get warm and people were starting to get cooped up, there were things going on in the community that I'm not even sure parents knew. And that was groups and packs of kids were getting together, riding their bikes, ending up in playgrounds, ending up in parks in town here, some wearing masks, some not wearing masks, hanging out, playing sports or whatever. And my feeling is that was in May. And if we don't have summer programs in the summertime when it's 90 degrees and humid, it's going to be very hard to keep kids doing things when it's not even structured. So those are the three reasons that I believe, and I believe vehemently, that we need to put out summer programs. So when we did the why, to me, the how was easy, how we were actually going to be able to do it. So lots of things are going to change. I need to be very clear with people that have been in our summer fun program before or our other programs, which we're going to talk a little bit also. they are going to be different. There's a lot of restrictions of what we can do. We do need to follow the state guidelines, which change on a regular basis. The guidelines are much different this week than they were actually 2 weeks ago. And the 2 weeks ago, they were different than a month ago. So we have been looking at lots of different ways that we're going to provide activities that we know of, like the summer fun program, in a safe way. And you're going to hear about some of those things now. But when you do sign up your child, if you choose to sign up your child, you will also get a very lengthy document, probably the weekend before we start, which will actually say all of our specific protocols around pickup, drop-off, and everything else. But I want to hit some of the highlights. So I want to start first with our playground programs. So we offer 4 playground programs. We have the Sergeant Summer Fun Program, which is held at the Sergeant School. And thank you for the school department for supporting us and making sure that we can still use the schools. That will be kids that finish grades K, 1, and 2. Okay, unfortunately, we'll not be able to take anybody that's age appropriate that should be in kindergarten. You have to have finished town kindergarten, first grade or second grade. Our Drummond Summer Fun site here on the Youth Center will be for kids that finish grades 3, 4, and 5. Our Sports and Rec program will be for boys as well as girls, if they choose to sign up. Grades 6, 7, and 8 will be at Reynolds Playground, and that's very much a sports-dominated playground program. And then we have our program in the second year. This year it's called Girl Gut Game. We will be at the North Andover Middle School, and that will be for girls in grades 6, 7, and 8. It'll be activity-based, it'll be sports-related, it'll be a lot of different good things for the girls to be involved with. So those will be our playground programs. When we roll out these programs, you'll need to know that certain things are going to have to be upheld. And the first thing you need to know is there will be self-evaluation by the parents before their kid goes. So originally there was questions of whether we're going to have to do temperature checks and everything. That is not going to happen. But you as a parent, before you send your child, are going to have to go through the 7-question protocol. Everything from have you had a temperature in the last 24 hours all the way down to fatigue, etc. You're going to have to answer those questions. And if you cannot answer correctly on those questions, you will not be able to send your child that day. If everything looks good, we're going to welcome you in. And you're actually going to do that technologically. You're going to do it on a Google form. So you'll actually fill out that Google form prior to driving your child to the program. And then we'll have that all documented and everything else. Our staff will also be self-checking themselves also before they come to work. So we're going to be taking this very seriously. The second thing, and this is non-negotiable, the health department said this is, we cannot debate this. All students that will be coming to our program, as well as all of our staff, will have to wear some kind of a face wrap. And if we cannot stay farther than 6 feet apart on any activity, you'll have to wear the mask, okay? If we're playing, for an example, a new version of our soccer, and we're 6 feet apart running around, you won't have to wear the mask. But it is non-negotiable, so I know that some people will have a little bit of an issue with that, so you're gonna have to think hard. If anyone has a medical reason why they cannot wear a mask, they're asked to get in touch with me by phone, and we'll address that issue and see how we can handle that issue. So on top of that, we are going to have new protocols with drop-off and pickup, which you'll get when you sign up your child. You'll hear about it. Not a lot different, but there are some certain things that we can and cannot do in the drop-off and pickup now. The next thing that's going to be very important, I want people to understand, is at this point, and this is obviously 2 weeks before we start the summer program, you need to understand they're going to be in groups, what are called cohorts, and it is going to be groups of 10, which could be 8 kids and 2 staff people. That is the group that you are going to be with all week. So as of right now, and my hope eventually is that they will only have to be together one day, and then we can switch the next day. But right now, as the protocols read, we will have to be with your group Monday through Friday, and then the next week we will be changing the group. We're asking people when they do sign up to list maybe 2 or 3 of your child's friends, so we can kind of put kids in groups together. So the day and age of the whistle blowing and 200 kids running to the circle is not going to happen now. Now we will have 20 groups of 10 kids in looking at all the different activities. Again, we're hoping there'll be some relief during the summer on these standards, but this is non-negotiable at this point in time if you choose to send your kid. We think we can do it well, and we think we can still make it really fun, and we're going to try to put kids with kids that may want to be together, and we think we can do that really well. So in terms of other areas, snack time will be very different. If you've been in our programs before, it used to be all the 200 kids kind of sitting in a circle eating. Now you'll actually be having your snack with your cohort group, and you'll be spreading out within the 6 feet. We ask this year that you send extra water. The water bubblers will not be available. You will send enough drinks and snacks, and you'll have them in a labeled bag with your child's name on it, because there'll be no sharing of food and no sharing of drink whatsoever. So you just continue to do that, and we'll be spreading out all of that. We're trying to limit how much anyone's actually touching different things. Sanitizing equipment is going to be unbelievable. We're going to sanitize equipment before we use it. We're going to sanitize equipment after we use it. So we will have on top. We are actually hiring some more staff this year to help us with these new job descriptions that we're going to have. In terms of just running activities, we have to really watch all of the safety. We'll be looking at probably having staggered times going to the bathrooms, because we can't have large groups going at one time, so we'll work through that. I'm not too concerned about that. I think that'll go real well. To start the summer, there will be no contact sports. So my staff has worked, that think tank has worked incredible to come up with new versions of games. Just listening to some of the stuff, pretty fun stuff the kids are gonna have a good time with it, but we're not gonna be tackling people and jumping all over people and things like that. So again, as the summer goes into phase 3, we are fully expecting we're gonna get back to more activities that are reminiscent of what we do all the time at Summer Fun. But in the meantime, we are working really hard to offer a number of great activities that the kids will really like. And I do believe they've been cooped up for so long that almost any activity we do, they're going to kind of embrace that. We are going to ask you, we're going to encourage you to, when you drop off your child, that the same person be doing the drop off each time. We're trying to limit how many people. Parents are not going to be allowed to come to the program except for drop off and pickup. Obviously, if you need to get in touch with your child, we'll be here. We can get in touch with your child, but we have to limit any people that are not part of the program on the site. Okay, so again, a lot of the different things we are going to put down in more clear protocols, but I want to give you a heads up of these are the things that you're probably going to see as we roll this out, and we are very excited about this. So again, the playground programs, we're ready to go. We're going to start June 29th. And we'll be going for 6 weeks. So the great news is we really only lost 1 week from our original plan. And we will obviously wrap up that first week. A couple of things you will not get that we usually get. Unfortunately, we will not have the cookout at the end of the summer. We will not be having the large gatherings for the talent show. We will probably be doing a lot of that stuff, and we're going to probably put it so we can get it online, so you'll be able to see your child in the talent show or the lip sync or any of the things we do, but there will be no parents that will be allowed to come to any of the events that we are doing on that. Again, having to limit people that can be on site with that. We are hoping that things, as I said, will loosen up a little bit during the summer, and we will keep in constant contact with you of new things that are going on. We do have protocols of how we're actually going to track kids during the day, and if anybody was showing symptoms, we have a plan of how that child is obviously taken out of the group, and parent comes, and we'll be working through all of that different stuff. But we're following all of the state guidelines and all of the recommendations from our health department to follow all of this. You will, at the end of when you register, you will have to acknowledge a COVID-19 release. That again is non-negotiable, so please read the release completely, done by our legal department here in North Andover. If you don't sign the COVID-19 release, you will not be allowed to attend the program. So on top of the playground programs, we are going to still have all of our other programs, although they'd be very different. The extremely popular Joseph Walsh Summer League is basically slated for phase 3, but we have a great plan. They will start on the 29th, And basketball, in terms of phase 2, you are allowed to have small groups to do skills and things like that. So the week of the 29th, the teams that are selected will have practice times in the gym with their own team, all non-contact, usually some shooting, some skill development, whatever. And the hope is that if things continue, that phase 3, phase 3 could start as early as June 29th, but we're hoping by July 6th, we will actually have the Summer League games that everybody is really interested in. We'll probably be doing a lot of those games on the outside court as opposed to the inside court for obvious reasons, but we'll keep in touch with you on that. So I do hope 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys, you all sign up for the very popular Joe Wall Summer League like you've done every year. All of our week-long programs are going to happen, but they're going to be local. So usually we're out in the vans, we're out, going to different states, we're doing different activities. So things like Girls Week, Adventure Week, Fitness Week, our community service programs, they will all be local programs because transportation is something that is really, really up in the air right now. So we will not be able to use our vans. So when we do Adventure Week, we'll be using a lot of the areas around here like Harold Parker and Wire Hill. You'll be required to drop your child off at the site and pick your child up at the site. So we'll have all the information on that. Our community service programs will continue. Again, we will do local community service, and we usually do that anyway, so that's not going to be a big change for us. All of these programs that I'm talking about right now will be limited to 8 to 10 kids, depending on where we are at that point in time with the regulations. So there'll be a little bit smaller groups. Obviously, that girls group is used to having 45 girls one year, and during the summer, 1 week. We're going to be having, potentially 2 weeks of Girls Week this year, and it'll be limited to 8 to 10 girls. So all of the other programs, we're having a photography program, videograph program that we're doing. We have a Girls Empowered program. All of those programs will be limited in size so we can actually follow the regulations. And everything that all those programs, we will also be following along with all the standards we have here. So what you need to understand this year is everything has to be online registration. Okay, so I will say, if you do not have the opportunity to register online, you need to get in touch with us Monday morning by phone or email. We'll see what we can do to make that happen for you. But there will be no coming to the youth center to sign up for a program. Excuse me. So the online registration will start on Monday morning, and I expect most of our programs to sell out quickly. Excuse me. So I would recommend that if this is something excuse me, that you are interested in doing, that you actually sign up sooner than later, because I cannot guarantee that we're going to be able to do anything once we get to our sellout numbers. There is some talk, if our summer fun programs got so big, would we look at another site? That is very up in the air, and I cannot promise that. We would look at that if the numbers warrant that, but my suggestion is, once you hear this little press conference we're doing here, along with getting the email and the information that's on our website, I think you need to make some quick decisions of what you would like to do this summer. And again, it may not be for everybody. We are living in strange times, and no judgment. Obviously, we're trying to do this as safe as possible to provide summer programs for North Andover kids for the reasons I mentioned at the first part of this press conference. And again, you will make your personal choices on that. But we're hoping to have, as we describe it every summer, the best summer ever. It will be different, but my staff is excited. We are in the process of, and it's late, but we're in the process of hiring our staff. We're actually halfway through it. So kids who get a summer job, the last group will know probably by Monday if they have a job. Again, there is an increase in staff a little bit this year because of the duties, so keep your fingers crossed. We had obviously hundreds of kids apply, so we can't hire everybody, but we're going to do our best to hire the best people available on that. So again, we're very excited. We will continue to work at the youth center for the next 2 weeks prior to the program starting to finalize everything. We got new equipment coming in. We've got, obviously working on a lot of technology to make this an easier summer for us. Some of the silver linings we talk about the pandemic has been that we're actually going to be able to run things more efficiently now because we have to, because there is no coming in to register, that type of thing. So we're very excited about that. So once you read the information you get, take the information I said today and make a decision of whether you would like to start signing up on Monday. We are not in the office this weekend to take any phone calls, but we will be back 8:30 on Monday morning to take any phone calls. And then obviously Demi will release the online registration at 9 a.m. All of the information will be up on our website this weekend of what we're talking about, and then we hope you will sign up for it. In closing, I would really like to thank a number of people. Most people said I was crazy to think we could pull this off. Probably the wrong thing to say to me. I knew we could do it. I knew we could do it safely, but hours upon hours of work went into this. So first, from the town, I'd like to thank our amazing town manager, Melissa Rodriguez, who didn't say no to me at the beginning. She kind of was probably not sure we were going to have much, but she was very excited as the thing rolled out. Obviously, Dee Casey, the deputy town manager, is my direct superior, and she obviously was a big sport. And I cannot say enough to our health department, Brian LaGrasse, Carolyn Ibbotson, and Cheryl Barzak, who have been unbelievable resources to me just to make sure we're not doing anything reckless, that we're doing this right. And I owe you all big. This was huge. I appreciate it, all of you. And then last but not least, the most important people to pull this off was my full-time staff and the think tank. Those 15 college kids who spent hours during the spring with the crazy-ass ideas, and we whittled it all down and figured out how we could do this. And we empowered them to be leaders. We empowered them to make some decisions for us. And I love their attitude that, you know, we are going to get this summer, and they did a great job, and they're pretty emotional about what they've done. I cannot say enough about them. Love you guys. You did everything that I asked you to do, and we're going to show people. And again, we're way ahead of most communities who are now just starting to roll out ideas. We already had it done. So I appreciate you all with that. I will say it, last thing, everything is fluid. You've heard that for 3 months with every press conference. You've heard from the governor, the president, and everybody else. There is a possibility that things might change on more of the negative side, and we need to be prepared for that, and we will be prepared for that. We will keep you in communicating. As the ultimate optimist, I'm looking at the other way. I'm looking that as the summer goes down, we're going to have less restrictions. We are going to be wearing face masks all summer, folks. I think you're just going to have to realize that. There are so many things, the cohort groups, they may grow, but they're still going to be part of that, and we need to follow that. So again, if you have any questions, they want to talk to us on the phone or email, we can probably receive your emails over this weekend, but we're back here on Monday, and we'll try to help you through this whole process. So again, I want to thank the town of North Andover. I want to thank all of those hundreds of parents that have been hammering me since end of March, saying you've got to have summer programs. We believe you can do this. And we pulled it off. As a community, we pulled it off, and it's just another example of how this community rises to the challenge. And it's not we can't do something, it's how we're going to do something. So remember, we explained why we have to do it. We're showing how we're going to do it, and I hope you're all going to enjoy it this summer. Have a great weekend.